Welcome to Story Scaling by podcastvideos.com, where creators share the truth behind the content, the grind, and the growth. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family, I am Bang of podcastvideos.com, and this is Story Scaling. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment, let me know who you want to see on the show, and we'll get them on the show. Today is a special episode. I know I've said that before, but today, I wish I had like a little Today's episode is near and dear to me. I have a good brother in the studio by the name of...
I'm introduced.
Yeah. Come on. I got a good brother in the studio by the name of...
Raymond House.
Raymond House. Welcome, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you for joining me, man.
Yeah, glad to be here, for sure.
Shout out to the people in my life who have poured into me and helped mold me. But when I think about like a brother, like a black man that's confident, family-oriented, that's what I would consider successful, not just from a monetary business standpoint, but from a personal integrity standpoint, I feel like you fit the criteria. You're one of the few people that, with a conscious mind, I say like, yeah, that's a role model. You know what I mean? And so I'm curious about your story and your journey and how you got to the point where people like me and others can say like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I could look up to this person, or I can model myself after House. If I see him do it, I know that sounds crazy to you,
it does.
But that's the reality, bro. And I want to be intentional with giving you your flowers because that's the reality. Like that's how we see it. And so for you, I just want to go back to the beginning of all of this. Like, how did you even get to where you are now when you were, let's just say, young House, bro, when, 8, 9, 10, like, what did you think you would be doing? Who were some of those influences for you? Like, this is really your show. We diving in right now. So let's unpack all of it, bro. Like, let's go back to the top. Everything you just said, you actually feel like, you were one of the first people to teach me success is A, relative.
It is.
Very relative, you know what I mean? And B is just completion of something.
Yeah.
So if you want to do a project,
just do it.
Just do the project.
Yeah.
And if it sells, if you blow up, great. But like, you was success because you did it and completed it.
Yeah. And I think that's really, in the art form, it's just the most, striking piece of it all is that when you think about art, it's just that starting with that blank canvas.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing there. And it's, so really the real goal is not, let me make this magnum opus, or this is the greatest thing ever. It's really, how do I go from something that looks like this blank sheet of paper to it not being blank? And then you just kind of take it from there and make stuff sad. And I think that's what can be restrictive from a creative perspective, is that there's these expectations people have in their mind about what it should be, what the outcomes should be from it, what it should do, all of that. But it's really like, how do I get from nothing to something?
I didn't, I actually started pregnant. My water broke at the coffee shop. That's just a little fun side story. But I wasn't ever really creative with drinks. More than anything, I was just learning how to make drinks at that time. But then in 2019, I started working for another company that encouraged me to do barista competition. Now, before that company, the one I ended up doing it with, another company did encourage me and say I could, but I just didn't know that much about it yet.
Sure.
I didn't know what barista competition was.
Yeah.
And when I did actually decide to do it, a new category had been created, coffee and good spirits, which is coffee cocktails. And I didn't know really that much about being a bartender, but I had thought to myself, like, if I could be a barista, I'm pretty sure I could be a bartender. It's pretty much the same skill, right?
Yeah.
And so I decided that I'm gonna do that competition, and that really opened up my mind to cocktails. But more than that, it really showed me how creative you can be with drinks.
Sure.
And not just like alcohol, but coffee as well, which is brown, so it's like hard to mix with. Everything turns its color. It's strong, it's overpowering. So learning how to use it is like a choir singing quietly. It just like takes a certain level of finesse. And I didn't.
Yeah. That's bars. There's some bars right there. There's some bars right there.
So I learned that in this process. And the first part of the competition that I did win it. And then the second part, I got 6th place in the country. But COVID, like everything else, kind of like it derailed the whole competition space for me. But I did learn a lot about myself as a creative. Because I had before, like in my past, like I've been really into like poetry, and like I wanted to be like Honey. I wanted to dance. Like I thought I was going to have a career in music. Really, it was actually pretty recently.
Yeah.
It was really recently. Like a few months ago, I was at Aldi in Bentonville, which I live 30 miles from Bentonville. And I was just bebopping through Aldi, and a lady stopped me and she was like, "Hey, are you the dirty barista?" I was like,
Wow.
I was with my kids, so I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I am. And
See, look, y'all, I told y'all I was
I
famous.
told y'all. They know, right? They know now. They're like, we Googled you. We saw. I'm like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I am. She's like, oh my gosh, I follow you. My name's, I don't say your name, but I follow you. I really enjoy your videos and da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, cool. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you, da-da-da.
Yeah.
She messaged me like, maybe like a few weeks later on Instagram, and she was like, hey, this is da-da-da. I'm like, oh yeah, we met at Aldi. I remember you. And she was just telling me, I have cancer. I have breast cancer. This is like a cancer story. Everybody has a cancer story, but this is a cancer story.
Wow.
She's like, I have breast cancer and I'm having to get a double mastectomy. And I really want you to make drinks for my like farewell breast party. I was like, what? And she's like, I just really love your drinks and you just seem so fun and nice. And I'm like, okay. So we like had dinner together. Wow. And me, her, and her partner, and we planned the party, brought the drinks. It was super fun.
Wow.
And I did it for free, but she still paid me, which I really did not want her to, but she did. And I was just like, that's just so kind of you, because what you like just recognizing me and asking me to do this, like you don't know how much of a payment that was to me.
Right.
And she was just so kind. And I was like, this is cool. Like drinks can really change things.
That's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
During the election season, whenever, race would come up, I think Donald Trump would pivot to talking about crime in Chicago and things like that. He wouldn't talk about race while talking about crime in Chicago. After he won, you had people on the left who would say things like, the South is horrible for electing Donald Trump. Let's just get rid of the South. Racist, backwards people live there. But Black Southerners, of course, did not vote overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. And when you look at a map, Pew Research Center has shown that the majority of Black Americans live in the South. So when you talk about the South, you're really talking about Black people too. Even if you're trying to be progressive and inclusive, you can't badmouth the South without badmouthing Black people.
Right.
Because we live here, we make it up.
We're the overwhelming majority here.
Yeah. And maybe that's a majority, but like the majority of us live
right.
here. Like, so we have a few in the, we have so many percent in the West and Northeast and Midwest,
Gotcha.
But mostly here. So I want to tell more of our stories. More stories of Black Southerners, because I think part of it was kind of like when I went to leave, feeling like there was nothing for me here, like, oh, this place isn't a good place for, Black people to be. But then when you step back, when you think about the movements in this country that have kind of led to other movements, it started a lot with, Black folks like resisting and doing things like that. So like we've always been that. And sometimes we forget. So we just look at the problems, but not like all the ways Black people have kind of progressed this country forward, especially, in the South. So I want to tell more of our stories, people who are just show the diversity of Black people, show the diversity of the South, and also talk about, just inspire people to where like, there's folks here doing cool stuff. You may not hear about it in the news, but there's people here just building their communities, like just doing neat things. So that's how Black Voices as a platform got started. There was a workshop I went to. It was a workshop on race that was hosted by an organization in Little Rock, Arkansas Public Policy Panel, I believe. So they brought in a speaker, I believe he's from New York, and a national speaker named Glenn Harris. And he was over this Social Inclusion Institute or something like that.
Yep.
So a story he told, it stuck with me and it sticks with me to this day. But he was trying to explain equity in a way that made sense. So he used an example called Streetlights in Seattle. And if you Google that, you can read the story, but I'll try to summarize it. But I think there had been something happen in like a Black neighborhood in Seattle, which is mostly white. But there was maybe an incident where some people were killed or something. And so like the city officials, the mayor, they drove around the city, that part of the city to kind of see what was going on and stuff. And then they noticed that all of the lights, the street lights were out in that city. Like there had a lot of light bulbs out. And then I think someone said, why are all these light bulbs out over here? And then they said, well, because to fix the light bulbs, you call in and then someone comes and fixes them. But then to encourage equity, what they did was they just made a note of the life expectancy of all the light bulbs. and changed them on a schedule, which is a very, I mean, just think about how small that is. But the reason it was so powerful was because everyone was happy. So you know who's the most happy about this change?
The residents.
The residents in the other parts of town, the more affluent parts, who weren't afraid to interact with government, and because they had to call as much. They didn't have to pick up the phone every time a street light was out and say, hey, come fix the street light. Like they knew what to do when the street light was out. They weren't afraid of interactions with city officials. They spoke English. You know, they were well off enough to kind of care about the street lights, you know. But that part of town, they probably want to interact with city officials. Some people didn't speak English. So it's like once they had the most vulnerable in mind, that change affected everybody. It helped everyone.
I'm a servant leader through and through. With or without any money in my pocket, I'm gonna serve. Be it opening the door for somebody, helping an old lady get her bags. Your kids don't do that no more, but I used to be the kid. Seeing a lady walk out with a couple bags, I'm gonna help her get them bags to the car, open the door for her, put them bags in, help her get her stuff out the basket. So in any and every way that it moves me, not that I have to think about it, to serve somebody, I'm gonna try to serve. And this kid's really committed to helping other people. We're gonna help him.
Let's go there.
What?
Take us there. Like how? You know what I'm saying? I used to read the magazine. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. And so if even just for a couple minutes, touch on that, man. Like what?
So I came out of a time in the '90s when Little Rock, Arkansas was the murder capital of the world per capita. More young people were being shot and or killed. Statistics show today that between the ages of 1 and 44, I think, or something like that, you're bound either to get killed or die if you're black. And growing up, for me, that was a big statistic. You're either going to go to jail, have a baby out of wedlock, or die before you turned 18. And now the real statistics are, I graduated, I'm 46, so I made it. And that gave me chills. I was a little bit scared, and then I lost a friend early on, Kendall, who was murdered one summer when Mike Tyson had a fight, and we were all away. He was shot, but he was the only guy in our neighborhood banging, and he was the only real gangster we knew. And he lost his life to banging, and it was unfortunate. But sometimes the worst things can make the best things out of you. And some of me and my homeboys, I think, with his death, took that on. It's like, we gonna switch this thing up. I went on from there, adapted into helping people, community service. I was a kid in my Boys and Girls Club, big advocate and proponent of that. A man that went on to die right after I won this national award. I was a national spokesperson for Boys and Girls Clubs of America. It's a National Youth of the Year award you win, and it's sponsored by Reader's Digest. So I went to D.C., competed nationally for that, won, and when I came back to Little Rock, Mr. Weathington called, because he's just a special kind of cat like that. The local police had a police escort, cameras when I got off the plane, like your life changed. Like you went to I call it like a Miss America pageant or something. You come home, you're getting all the hometown hero love.
Absolutely.
So cameras, lights, action. I fall right into it, love it. So I live by 3 F's. When I used to give my Boys and Girls Club speech and U of A orientation speeches, I made straight F's at one point because my mom and dad had split, and I'm dealing with my own issues on that and not paying attention in class and up and down and getting in what they call trouble. But I made straight F's. And I wasn't proud of it, but out of that, I adopted a 3F rule. And I tell people all the time, it's so important that you have fun in this life, no matter what you do. You wake up, it can be the worst day. Rent due, things crazy. Something, try to imagine, think of something, try to have an ounce of fun. And people say I'm too serious sometimes, but I know how to have some good fun. So have fun, stay focused, and finish whatever you set your mind out to start. If you start something, finish it.
You know, if anybody were to take anything away, is finding the main thing and then keeping that main thing the main thing, you know. Because if the main thing is just focused on you, it's gonna run out. The flyness comes and goes. That's all subjective. Somebody ain't gonna feel it, and who cares?
Right.
As long as you cool with whatever it is, and I get to go teach them hundreds of classes this way, and then hundreds of students in my classes this way, and then when them students leave that class, not only do they know more about America and our historical legacy and what that means to them today, they also can see the real life example of how that context provides freedom for an individual. Because I'm standing here telling you this as Dr. Eric Hughes, wearing my own stuff there with my own studio. When you go shopping, when you leave campus and go to wherever else, you probably walk past my studio. And I don't got to say nothing. It just is, My family has been through that, keeps us focused, being a husband, being a father, having lost a child. And then also at the same time, living in the same skin while you're doing all these things that you're doing and accomplishing the goals that you have for yourself it takes that level of understanding and groundedness of who you really are and what you're really here to do. Because in going through those things, it's helped me to be courageous. And the tools that have benefited my growth the most have been love, wisdom, and courage. And, the love is a requirement. The love is the essence. The wisdom is the skill and the understanding that you build through the experiences, through the bumps, through all those things. And the courage is to be present and execute in the moment, and growth takes that. It takes that courageous intent, and to be able to speak about the loss that I've experienced and be able to use that for myself and to be able to help others, that's a part of the purpose. And being able to walk in that purpose is the reason that we keep the main thing, and that I keep the main thing, because there ain't nothing that no person on this earth will ever say to me that's going to be better than, well done, my good and faithful servant. Because at that point, I get to see my daughter again.
I got in trouble when I was up here for college. Ended up messing up my record. So then it's hard for me to get jobs and stuff like that. But I still end up finishing college and stuff like that. But that's the thing. Like, I finished college. I got my degree in information systems. So I got a minor in supply chain. But because of my record, I wasn't able to pass HR for certain jobs and stuff like that. So
also never knew that, bro. I didn't know that was your background. That's crazy. We get some exclusive.
Right. So that happened. So then like the places I was working were like more like family owned, where I can really go in, because I had like people at Walmart who wanted to hire me, and hiring managers like, hey, before we even continue with the next part of the interview, let's just do your background just to see if I can, so we don't waste nobody's time, because it's like, I like you, and I like how you come on. You seem like a good candidate, but couldn't get past the HR policy. Right. So then it just became me working jobs, but no matter what job I worked, I just made sure I worked my way up, all of that stuff. Moving forward, I ended up hired a photographer one time, got what I paid for. It wasn't even that great. And that's where I think the first idea came in my head, where I was like, you know what? They still made $800 in one day. I think I could do better than this. I'm going to get a camera because I want a side hustle. Also, I'm tired of working with the people I'm working with. So I was like, I'm going to just pick up a camera. I'm going to do this. That's how it really started.
Wow.
That's the real, like, now, the reason it was photography, I still always somewhat had an interest in photos and stuff like that. And it was more like, I'm going to do like landscape and architecture because I like the screensavers on computers. And I was like, I'm going to photograph people for the money. And then I started photographing people I actually felt in love with it. In love with the storytelling. I also kind of made it related to like my dad's dad, my granddad. I never got a chance to meet him. But I always love going through those old photo albums where, you got the plastic, that real stuff. So, but I see all these like older photos of my granddad, and it wasn't too many of them either. But that mixed with the stories my dad told me, it's like, oh, I got to imagine the person. I got to actually feel like I met the person and stuff like that. So more that I felt in love with photography and photographing people, more I started understanding that people need to tell their stories. They need to be photographed, because when when a person passed, that's really all you left with. Like, forget the materialistic things. Like, you would actually forget what a person looks like.
That's right.
You don't have a picture.
That's right.
So going back to Bedford Camera and Video, when I first got my camera, I took like a class up there that just taught me what aperture, shutter speed, ISO was, like the basic.
Is that Fort Smith?
Nah, in Fayetteville. Fayetteville. So then, it taught me the basic and stuff like that. And then from there, I'm just pretty much self-taught. But I ended up getting a job there because I was like, let me go ahead and work here. I'm getting into this photography thing. Got a job there. But that also helped me realize people would come in because they lost a loved one. And then they come in with wallet-sized pictures or maybe just pictures on their phone, and they trying to blow up a big picture for the memorial. And they like, this is the only picture I have of my mom or my sister or just whatever. And it's like, we can't blow it up bigger.
The biggest thing that stands out to me personally is like, man, I don't really realize what all I do. And I'm not necessarily doing it for the title or the bio. I'm doing this because this is what I really want to do. So the biggest thing is like, man, when you say like 2 or 3 lines, it's like, man, I am really doing that. You know, it makes me proud of myself in a different light, you know, because like I hear people that give me credit, you know, people who discredit me, but like to hear it in such a context and different form other than Spider, you really doing it, right? And you got clout, or like even more like the slang way. Just to hear it in the professional way is dope. You know, this, you know, that's why I want to hear if we in a gala and people are just getting these speeches or they getting taught. I want to hear somebody speak like that. And I'm proud that it's possible. Everything started. Sports. Spider wanted to be a ball player. And Spider didn't know what he wanted to be a lot of his life. Like even as a kid, I don't have a lot of memories of just like what I wanted to be. I just wanted to do something, and I knew that I had to work hard to do it. So whatever I decided, when I decided it, I did it. At certain points in time in my life, I just wanted to be the manager or where I was at. So one of my first jobs was Kroger's. And I wanted to be the best buggy pushing that we got, and bagging groceries. I was the best. I want me and the guys who just have competitions, and like I wanted my boss to know that if it was a rush during Christmas, you can count on Spider to come and do his thing. You know, of course I wasn't necessarily Spider in my job. They, you know, I was just Octavius, especially throughout school. Spider came really when I was looking for more like an identity in school. When I was in school, which was a very long time ago, it was people were really into like cartoon characters. SpongeBob was really big, and so I seen everybody doing all those things. It was like, man, I'm gonna take Spider-Man. I'm gonna make Spider-Man the dope thing. I'm gonna wear Spider-Man. Nobody else is doing
T-shirt, backpack,
spray paint, all that. Birthday parties themed around it. You know, call me Spider. That it translated really good with playing basketball because I was short, and I put that same effort into playing basketball. Even though I wasn't as great as I could be, I would do things smart. You know, it's like, okay, how can I beat this guy who's 3 feet taller than me? And so like I jump really well. So it's like, okay, you are like a spider. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like what was going on. So after school, I went to work, and basically that's what I was like, man, I'm not probably gonna play basketball because I'm pretty short. And I wasn't really good at school. Like the thought process of going to school, studying and things like that wasn't really my thing. You know, I could comprehend very well. I can go to a classroom and just listen, and then I can pass a test. So I kind of just, I don't know, wasn't taking this as serious as I should have. So I dropped out and I got my GED. And so it was like, okay, what do you do now with your life? All right, I got a job at the Sonic. And I was working there throughout the process of getting my GED. And really good people person. Like people will come back after I car hop to their car and tell people that will request for me be the guy who bring them their drinks and things like that. People, it got a real good rapport. Manager caught on that, made me a manager.